The MeidasTouch YouTube channel is about to hit 6 million subscribers. We are just 200 subscribers away, and it is an honor that we will be able to, in very short order, share that moment with each of you. It's why we wanted to start this episode about 5 minutes earlier than our normal start time, just so we can build up that subscriber count. And as the show starts on its usual time, we should be right around that 6 million subscriber number. And folks, we've got a lot to discuss on this episode as the MeidasTouch hits 6 million YouTube subscribers. So you have Donald Trump currently, as we speak, attacking the MeidasTouch network for working with MoveOn to lead the State of the Union official boycott. The People's State of the Union, which will be streaming right here on the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. We have about 40 members of Congress, senators, and members from the House of Representatives who will be giving speeches themselves. They'll also be bringing special guests with them. This has never happened in the history of the United States before, and it is an honor and a privilege to be able to share that with this community and to lead kind of a real, intelligent, humanity-facing State of the Union that we're calling the People's State of the Union. And shout out to the great folks at MoveOn for helping us, and all of the senators and members from the House of Representatives who are attending our event. We are so grateful for all of you. Donald Trump's been having psychotic meltdowns throughout the weekend and throughout the day as the United States Supreme Court struck down his tariffs against the world under IEEPA. So after the Supreme Court ruled against Donald Trump, what did he do? He unlawfully invokes another law, the United States Trade Act of 1974, which is not applicable. And Trump then imposes a new set of 15% tariffs on the entire world. And he says the Supreme Court said, I won. They gave me more power, he says. No, they didn't. He's deranged and demented, and now he's crashing our economy. Remember when you had Pam Bondi saying, the Dow is 50,000, so I don't need to talk about covering up a child sex trafficking ring. The Dow is crashing today. It's about 48,000 right now. Not good. So I guess that means maybe the DOJ can take child sex trafficking seriously right now. And we're seeing the ramifications internationally, not in response to the Supreme Court ruling against Trump, but Trump's response of now imposing these 15% tariffs on the entire world and attacking other countries as well. So you have the European Union Parliament stopped ratifying its trade deal, or it's a fake trade deal with the United States. India's trade delegation was supposed to meet with the United States trade delegation this week. They canceled their visit separately. In France, they are now banning the U.S. ambassador to France, Charles Kushner, from meeting with any French officials. It's unrelated to the Supreme Court ruling. It's just Kushner started attacking domestic policy in France. France summoned Kushner. Kushner refused to show up as the ambassador, which is your duty when you get summoned by the host country. And so they've basically all but expelled him from France. No one's allowed to speak to him there from the French government right now. Meanwhile, you have the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Kane, privately telling people that the United States does not have the resources, the weapons, or the support of allies to successfully attack Iran as Donald Trump wants. But Trump posted, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, is what Donald Trump posted moments ago. It's great that people are reporting that, but I don't care. It's up to me what we're going to do. Me. Right? And speaking about me, we saw Cash Patel. Well, lots of very serious things are going on in our country that I'm listing. He was chugging beer with the Olympic hockey team in Milan after a spokesperson said that he's not going to be going to the Olympics. Not only did he go, but he started chugging beer and wearing the gold medal like he won. It was just such an embarrassing sight to see, right? And I'm watching right there the ticker. We are getting closer right now to that 6 million subscriber mark. Then Donald Trump told the men's ice hockey team, well, if we invite you to the State of the Union, which I'd love to have you, I guess I'm going to have to invite the women's team that won gold. Otherwise, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. I don't really want them to show up, but we're going to have to bring the women's team. And then the men's hockey team started laughing at the demeaning talk about the women's team, and the women's team canceled any of their visits to the State of the Union or to the White House. And again, it's really unfortunate that during a time of our nation's victory in Milan, that Donald Trump would turn it into a hate fest. And also what he brought out of that men's hockey team, is something that I think will now overshadow the victory, just even the way they treated the women's hockey team. It's disgusting. And that's what Donald Trump does. He debases everybody around him. He brings you to that disgusting, vile level. And as I noted, markets are not doing very good right now at all. Just some more international news we'll cover as well. The United States, Trump, in a very deranged fashion, says he's sending these hospital ships to Greenland in order to help the sick people of Greenland. And he said they're very sick and we need to send them and give them health care. First off, they have universal health care in Greenland, unlike here in the United States. Then Donald Trump's ambassador to Greenland, Jeff Landry, started making these posts. We're doing this. Hospital ships is what we're sending. The people of Greenland get away. They also think it could be a Trojan horse for an invasion there. We'll touch upon that as well. And while all this is going on, Donald Trump is plummeting in the polls. We'll talk about that. And you have accountability coming in the UK. I mean, you have former Lord Mandelson, Peter Mandelson, is connected with Epstein, former ambassador to the United States. He was arrested. Andrew Mountbatten, former Prince Andrew, no prince, that guy. He was arrested last week. And meanwhile, we learn about more Howard Lutnick ties to Jeffrey Epstein. More business deals are being reported there as well. So in other words, I think we've got a lot to discuss, brothers, as we are close to 70 subscribers away with my filibuster intro right there to try to get us right around the start time before I tossed it over to you. But we're right there, so close. And I'm just such an honor to spend this moment with the community as well and do our normal show.
Historic times, everybody. It's great to be here with you, brothers. It's great to be here, Midas Mighty. I'm so excited to be able to do this live with everybody. I mean, what serendipity right now for us to be hitting the 6 million mark while we're scheduled to go live on this broadcast. I mean, someone's got to do the math for me. What are the odds of it lining up exactly, basically, with the start of the show? But I want to thank everybody for joining us, whether you're watching live and you're in it with us, watching the ticker go up. We have just about 60 subscribers till we hit 6 million subscribers, or whether you're rewatching this, I hope it's just as exciting as we reach this massive milestone. And this milestone is a big deal because it means that our message is getting out there. It means that you are spreading the word. And I think even with the 6 million subscribers, one of the things that we've noticed with our channel is we are punching above our weight class, meaning that there are many YouTube channels that have been here, kind of legacy YouTube channels, been here for years, been here for over a decade, that might have 10 million, 20 million subscribers, but they're not getting the reach that we're getting. They're not getting the views that we're getting here. And so it shows you something. We also just passed 9 billion views here on the YouTube channel as well, which is a stat that I'm also incredibly proud of. And of course, we got this big event tomorrow that we're going to speak of. But folks, we are now just about 10 away from 6 million subscribers. So I think it's moving quick now, folks. I can 3, 2, 1, 6 million subs, everybody. Congratulations, Midas Mighty. Congratulations to you. And this is why we wanted to go live earlier today. You noticed we started a few minutes early because we wanted to make sure that we hit this milestone with you watching, because you are the reason, obviously, for the success of this network. You are the reason that independent media continues to grow and continues to thrive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Jordy, congrats, buddy. How's it going?
What's up, brothers? What's up, Midas Mighty? Congrats to y'all. Congrats to the Midas Mighty. I say this every time we hit another milestone here. This is truly an egoless movement, right? This isn't about Ben, Brett, or Jordy. Yes, we are the ones on the stream right now, but it is this community. It is the Meidas Mighty. That is the cornerstone. That is the foundation. That is the very essence of this pro-democracy movement. So congrats to you guys, man, because without y'all, this is not possible. And even beyond that, without y'all, this megaphone here to get these pro-democracy messages and causes and just continue to spread the truth with facts, data, and receipts. None of that is possible without you guys. So thank you guys so much for being in this fight with us every step of the way, every single day. Congrats to you guys. This is so amazing. And now we have a bigger megaphone now to spread the truth, to spread these pro-democracy ideals. All thanks to y'all. So thank you for being here today. I am so excited to get into today's show. On a light note here, I guess I don't have to shave my head anymore. I know that was the big bet, that if we didn't reach it within the 30 days, and we're about 8 days before that. I will say this though, I do have a bunch of grays coming in on the side. I think I was a little stressed out, to be honest. But here we are.
Can I just say, Jordy, I was a little worried when you made that your goal, when you made that the thing, right? The stakes, that if we didn't hit 6 million, that you would shave your head. And I was worried about it because for me, as the older brother, that would almost encourage me to do the opposite, to start an unfollow campaign, specifically to make you shave your head. But thankfully,
and you told me that behind the scenes.
Our followers aren't as mean as I am. And
thank you guys so much, man. This means the world. Benji, where do you start off, big bro?
When we build a platform like this, it's not just about the number, right? The number is meaningless. It's what you do with the number, right? How do you amplify pro-democracy content? Who do you amplify? What do you discuss? How do you discuss it, right? And it's also, when you think about what we're doing tomorrow by being the main distributor of the biggest boycott of the State of the Union in history. This is historical in nature, right? We're sending a statement as well that you can't normalize fascism, that I understand that even when you disagree with another party in power or a president in power, tradition says you still show up to the State of the Union. But where someone violates all traditions, norms, and the Constitution like Donald Trump, by giving it that attention, in many ways, you become complicit in recognizing the destruction of these norms, the destruction of the Constitution. It's why I think the boycott is so important. Now, look, I understand, and I'm not going to fault individuals who show up as a sign of protest, but I will fault people who behave like it's a normal thing to be a part of that State of the Union. It is not. Like, I understand if a lawmaker wants to show up with an Epstein survivor to make that point, right, and stare down Donald Trump with a survivor by their side. I understand that. Or a family member of someone who was killed in a concentration camp here in the United States. I get that. Or a whistleblower who was retaliated against. I understand that. But when I see corporate news and corporate news hosts attacking what we're doing for violating traditions and norms, I think that you are aiding and abetting fascism right there, because nothing is normal about this. Having masked ICE agents and Border Patrol Gestapo roaming the streets in military gear, torturing, terrorizing, and killing people in this country, that's not normal. We've seen federal judges from all political parties, appointed by all different types of presidents, including Donald Trump, talk about how the DOJ has violated court order after court order. And yet Donald Trump persists in violations of these court orders. He rips to shreds the Constitution when the Supreme Court rules against his tariffs against the world. That should send a message. Stop it. Cut it out. What are you doing? You want to be king? What does Donald Trump do? I'm going to do bigger tariffs. Actually, the words that Donald Trump used, this is a direct quote, I will impose more obnoxious tariffs. an exact quote from what he posted. More obnoxious tariffs. I will be even more obnoxious. Okay, we have the video of Kash Patel chugging beer while he and Donald Trump and this regime are covering up a child sex trafficking ring while there are still 50 terabytes missing in the Epstein files, while they are demeaning and degrading survivors, while they are pretending that they are vindicated when Trump's name appears over 38,000 times in the redacted files, likely exists over 1 million times in the unredacted files. And you have Kash Patel. Do we have the video of Kash Patel in Milan? This is so utterly disgraceful. First, I want to play Kash Patel there. Then I'm going to play a clip of Donald Trump calling Kash Patel, and Kash Patel on the phone with Trump with the hockey players. And you'll hear Patel then go, I fucking got, I know I hate cursing. I fucking got you, boss. I fucking got you, boss. Like he's like, you know, like the sidekick to Shredder in a freaking Ninja Turtles movie. And again, to see our hockey team behave like that after winning the gold, and to be so cold and cruel to the women's hockey team and to laugh and demean them, that's not how adults and grown-ups behave. So no, I'm not going to act like this State of the Union thing is normal. So going back to what I said, what do you do with that platform? And here at the MeidasTouch Network, I hope we show you this is what we do with we do things with our platform. We observe, and then we do, and we lead. And I think that's so important. So here was Kash Patel. I know you've seen this clip. I'm just going to show us a small portion of it. Let's play it. The hell is that? Now, here's when Donald Trump calls Patel. Like, Trump endorses all of this stuff. Like, Trump's with all of this behavior, right? I mean, this is what he's doing with our tax dollars, your hard-earned tax dollars, while Trump's Epstein class friends are barely paying any taxes, probably paying no federal income tax. They're taking our taxes to support this crap. Or you can, not to mention the fact that they have ICE and Border Patrol, Gestapo terrorizing people. Anyway, let me show you what Donald Trump did when he called Kash Patel. Let's play it.
It would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day. We'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you on.
Let's bring in Brett and Jordy. Look, that's not funny behavior. That's not grown-up adult behavior. That you, as the president of the United States, are going to do that, demean the women's hockey team in that way, have the FBI director chugging beers like, it's just despicable stuff.
It's really, really, really a disgrace for them to do this, politicize this, behave in this sort of way, the way they're behaving. And I'm just trying to picture like James Comey going to the Olympics and pounding beers with people while there are all this serious things happening while he's covering up these heinous crimes. Just the visuals are absolutely appalling. It's so utterly unprofessional. And the entire Trump regime, like the entire apparatus at the FBI, the comms team over there, was so holier than thou throughout this entire weekend, where they kept like yelling at the press for saying that Kash Patel was in Milan and that he was going to be attending these Olympic Games. And they'd be like, how dare you fake news for reporting that Kash Patel was hanging out with the Olympic team? Take it back, take it back. And they would send all of these messages just whining like little babies. And then sure enough, the photos start coming out, and each photo, each video is worse than the next that we see, and shows that that's exactly what Kash Patel is doing. But this is the behavior of the Epstein class, right? This is the same sort of behavior we see of Howard Lutnick, when Lutnick says, I never went there, I never, not me, that guy was disgusting. The second I saw him, I was like, I'm disgusted, I'm not going to speak to him. And then it's like, okay, well, we just found out that you went to the island that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to hire your your nanny, even though he doesn't have kids, and that your nanny's resumes were being sent over to Jeffrey Epstein. That's kind of bizarre. As more and more comes out every single day, we're learning more and more about the business relationships you also had with Jeffrey Epstein that extended far beyond the point when he was originally found to have done a lot of the heinous acts that he has already done. And so you just look worse and worse when you deny, and then the truth comes out. And that's what we keep seeing. And just like, if we just even look at the past week of this incompetent, disgraceful administration, I think this photo here sums it up. I've labeled this on my computer cosplay montage. And these are images of people in the Trump regime. And I think this really sums it up. And for our audio listeners, it's an image of Kash Patel chugging a beer in the locker room while he's got his fake, it's not a fake gold medal, but he's got the gold medal that the players put around his neck. I guess you could put that next to Donald Trump's FIFA Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize that Machado gave him. Then you have Pete Hegseth lifting weights. This was like a big video that he put out. Look, I'm lifting weights. Look, watch me. And then you have the video of RFK Jr. and Kid Rock, and they're naked in a sauna together. That was weird. RFK has his jeans on. He's going in the hot tub in his jeans or whatever it is. And then you have Kristi Noem and her various costumes and outfits and her cowboy hat and her Kevlar vest and all the various things. And this is a cosplay administration. This is an administration that is so focused on visuals and not focused on actually governing. And in a lot of respects, I think you realize a lot of these people, all they want is to be famous. And that to me is disturbing. That to me is not the reason why you are supposed to get into public service. It's called public service for a reason. You're not a celebrity. And so when you're going out there and you're just trying to get this attention nonstop by doing all these various stunts while you're neglecting actual issues that affect the people, while you're neglecting these heinous crimes, while you're actually neglecting or worse, encouraging Donald Trump to poison the American people's health and encouraging these actions that are allowing coal to get in the atmosphere and kill people, or glyphosate to get in our food, and when you're just naked there with Kid Rock and you're like, it's all good, everybody. I mean, you just show what your priorities are. And this regime has shown what their priorities are time and time again.
The Trump regime, they're just all such total losers. That's it. And then put it on a bumper sticker. They are losers. They're losers, and they have to manufacture these wins with photo ops, or in Kash Patel's instance, he literally jumped into the winning team's locker room and started chugging beers and celebrating as if he was part of the team, as if the dude was in the rotation on the third line that would go out there and do whatever. I mean, it's honestly just so pathetic the way these people just act and behave on a day-to-day basis. And it's just so MAGA too, right? It's just such MAGA ethos right there, that they can't do anything for themselves that benefits anyone or has any tangible accomplishments to speak of. So what do? They literally insert themselves in the wins in Kash Patel's case. It is, to me, just the most ultimate pathetic footage that, quite frankly, I've really seen in quite some time. I mean, put that one in the history books, because that right there, it's beyond anything, but it just sums up MAGA so well, Ben.
Well, and it sums it up so well because their celebration, as weird and odd, as offensive it was for Kash Patel to be chugging beers with them, they also had to demean the other also, right? Which is so perfectly MAGA, right? They had to use the opportunity as a way to attack the female team, right? It wasn't enough just to celebrate the accomplishments of both American hockey teams winning gold, right? That should have been, if you're the president, and I can't wait to celebrate with you. And how about that incredible female hockey team also winning gold? I'm so proud of you both. And then the guy team goes, yeah, because we're rooting for both teams. That's the thing about leadership also, right? Because as a leader, you can also try to uplift people and set the tone, and that's what's expected of a leader. But what he did and what the team became complicit on, and what Trump does to people in general, is he brings them to his level, right? To his lack of character. And there are lots of people who are predisposed to it in general. There are lots of bad people like the RFKs of the world and the Patels of the world and others who are, again, predisposed to it. And then he also brings people down, like in Congress or others, who always claim to be like, no, I'm moderate and I'm this and I'm that. And then they become this way as well. And once you're there, it's hard to dig yourself out of that, right? So now, when anytime people think about, okay, this Olympic team, are we going to remember the accomplishments of their great win? Or are we going to say, well, wasn't that the time where they attacked the women's team and Cash Patel was there with it, right? And then it becomes about Donald and about Cash. And to me, that also, Jordy, sums up, MAGA right there in a nutshell. So I think a good lesson, though, heading into the State of the Union is Donald Trump has never been less popular, right? His poll numbers are absolutely crashing. And whether it's because of Donald Trump causing massive damage to our economy, the PCE inflation numbers from Friday show inflation is surging. The GDP numbers came in at like 1.4% Q4 after the Trump regime promised it would come in at 3 or 5% or even higher. You had those numbers coming in, the cover up of the Epstein files. Donald Trump saying that he's been vindicated for, the fact that he's ripped away healthcare from people, that prices are going up, you name it. People are not buying the propaganda anymore. And I also think the question is or an important thing to recognize is, again, with these 6 million subscribers, with the growth of this network and the 9 billion views, I think we've also been pushing back against that propaganda every single day. It's why there are videos here 90 minutes every day, substantive videos that go over facts and specifics. And it's not us ranting and raving about all these things. It's fact, receipt, evidence, and empowering people with the truth throughout the entire day. So let's just talk, though, briefly about Donald Trump alluding to his bad polls. This was from earlier this morning when Donald Trump was speaking at an event that was supposed to honor angel families at the White House, families that lost loved ones. What was Donald Trump doing and saying? He goes, "It amazes me that there's not more support out there." Here, play this clip.
It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I think well, that's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election, too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig.
Here's what Donald Trump says also about the polling and the fact that he says all of the polls are fake. Here, play this clip.
Polls are tough, when you get a fake poll. I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to.
And then when you think about the deranged things that he's saying throughout this, he talks about Mamdani shoveling snow, and then he's having a conversation with women in the audience who has bad eyes, and he says he fixed her eyes. Well, here, play this clip.
Why would we do this? And they walk in, nobody even asked for, do you have an identification? Do you have an ID? It's so crazy. The mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now. And I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell? You're not going to help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? No, right behind you, look. My friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay? Good. Good. Are your eyes okay? I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay. And when do you go? Well, you get them done. It's an operation, but it's 100%. You know, it's great. Good. You're going to have 20/20 vision. She's almost blind, cataracts. She's almost blind. And with one operation, that'll take a very short period of time. Hope you have a good doctor. He's an expensive doctor, top of the line, right?
What
Riveting stuff.
riveting stuff. Well, we just hit 6 million subscribers. Thanks to all of you. We're grateful for all of you for helping us hit 6 million.
But Ben, I got to say, you know what we got to do now? We got to put the 6 million into action. And so I'm expecting all 6 million of you to show up tomorrow.
Do you think we can get 6 million watching live?
Ooh.
I don't know. Nah, listen, I just want everybody possible to show up for this thing and show your support for this People's State of the Union. Like Ben said earlier, it's a historic event. This has never happened before. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of lawmakers who are going to be not attending the State of the Union, and they're going to be attending our event that we're putting on with MoveOn, and it's going to be at the National Mall in DC, and we're going to be streaming it live right here on this network, right here on this YouTube channel. And the link is up right now. If you wanted to go to it, it's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MeidasTouch. You go there, you'll see the link to the stream for the People's State of the Union. You could set your reminders right now. Please tell a friend, share it with people. Let's really make a statement here, folks, because I think we have a real opportunity right now to show where the energy of this country actually is.
All right, we will take our first quick break of the show. 16,000 subscribers here. Oh, by the way, while you're all here, check out store.MeidasTouch.com. Get that Midas.
And all over the place, Brett. Don't worry about it.
I know, 6 million subscribers, not 16,000 subscribers.
Sorry, 16,000 subscribers here watching live.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
16,000 people watching live is what I meant to say.
I know.
And then also go to store.MeidasTouch.com, check out the MeidasTouch gear, and also check out our Substack as well. We'll be right back after our first quick break.
Thanks to HomeServe for sponsoring this episode. Owning a home is amazing until it's not. 1 minute you're sipping coffee, and the next you're ankle deep in water from a burst pipe. Repairs don't care about timing, and they definitely don't care about your budget. Regular homeowners insurance usually doesn't cover a lot of the day-to-day wear and tear. Plumbing failures, HVAC breakdowns, electrical issues, you're often on your own for those. That's where HomeServe comes in. It's like a subscription for your home. For as little as $4.99 a month, they've got your back. Repairs hit fast and hard. You could be searching for a contractor in a panic, or you could already be on the phone with HomeServe's 24/7 hotline scheduling a repair. It's super simple. Choose a plan for your needs and budget, and when something on your plan goes wrong, just call their 24/7 hotline to start the repair process. They've helped homeowners like you for over 20 years with a trusted national network of 2,600 local contractors. With 4.5 million customers, a 4.8 out of 5 post-repair rating, and an A+ BBB rating, they're the real deal. If I had needed this, HomeServe is what I would use. Seriously, they could have saved me a lot of time and money with those faulty electrical outlets I discovered in my home. Help protect your home systems and your wallet with HomeServe against covered repairs. Plans start at just $4.99 a month. Go to homeserve.com to find the plan that's right for you. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs. This time of year when it's cold and dark by dinner time, all I want is something warm, comforting, and easy. Home Chef has been my go-to for cozy home-cooked meals without the hassle. From easy oven-ready meals to hearty, satisfying recipes that make winter dinners feel effortless. Home Chef makes cooking simple. Fresh food delivered, easy recipes to follow, and meals that actually taste great. And people really love it. Home Chef is rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. They've worked with chefs like Gordon Ramsay, and there are always new ones to discover to bring restaurant quality recipes straight to your kitchen. You'll find these chef-inspired recipes across Home Chef's culinary collection, classic meal kits, and express options, each designed to help you feel confident in your kitchen. Whatever kind of day you're having, Home Chef has you covered. From easy, classic recipes with fresh ingredients and 30-minute meals to oven-ready trays and quick microwave lunches. There's even a dedicated family menu for easy 4 or 6 serving dinners. And it's not one size fits all. Home Chef has over 30 meal options each week with choices for different diets and tastes. Plus, it's affordable. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/Meidas. That's homechef.com/Meidas for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/Meidas. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description of both the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Some good products, some great offerings right there. Definitely check it out. I am so grateful, Meidas Mighty, that I do not have to shave my head, because I was reminded in the chat, Brett, every single episode, despite me no longer saying it after the first 2 weeks of February, that I put that bet into the world.
I think you're starting to get a little worried, I think.
The Grays speak for themselves on the side of them.
Feeling the heat.
But shout out to the Meidas Mighty, man. This is, you guys are just the best. Thank you. Benji, where to next, big bro?
So look, as we were hitting 6 million subscribers today, and then also we're coordinating the People's State of the Union, which is the biggest boycott in the history of the United States for the State of the Union. We have so many senators and members of Congress who are attending. New senators and new members of Congress announced today that they'll be attending, like Congress member Garcia and Senator Gallego and others announcing today. I also have my midterm this week that I give out to the law class that I teach. And so I'm also doing my midterm review today, and I'm holding office hours while all of these calls are going down. And so there was just so many things happening all at once. And so big shout out to all my students as well at USC, undergrad at the law program, though, who are studying right now for those midterms. You're all going to do great. So I told them I would give them a shout out as well. All right, let's take a look at some of the polling numbers right now for Donald Trump. The worst in history. The worst in history. And the way Harry Enton delivers this right here, I mean, by the way, just look at the CNN poll. As you can see, Donald Trump's support with independents plummeting. His support with independents right now is at 26%. And by the way, that's the same approval he has with Latino voters, with voters under the age of 40, and with most demographic groups is right at that 26% mark. Lots of people are like, well, Donald Trump's bottom is like 36 or 35. No. This is heading into the 20s right now. And as Donald Trump now imposes this new tariff regime on the entire world, which caused the markets to tumble today, things are going to get worse for Donald Trump, and unfortunately worse for the country. But I think people are seeing what's going on. And by the way, go back and watch videos of Donald Trump. And we showed some of these earlier in the day as well in some of the videos I did. Before his casinos went bankrupt, he would say, we've never been better. It's the same shtick. The casinos have never been healthier. They've never been greater. The biggest casinos that there are. We are in such a magnificent position. And then bankrupt. This is what this guy does. It's why we focus on his background and his past, right? I mean, he is a sexual predator, right? Here's someone who has been found civilly liable for sexual assault. He's someone who has bankrupted entity after entity after entity. And he's a fraud. He tricks people. He's a con man. He's a Ponzi schemer. This is what he's done his entire life. He's got a shtick. I don't know why it works. It doesn't make any sense to me why people buy it when he keeps on, Jordy, to your point, being a freaking loser and bankrupting everything over and over and over again and defrauding people over and over and over again. By the way, to me, people could go bankrupt. That doesn't make you whatever. But like when you defraud people and you're a con man and you repeat the shtick over and then you take from people over and over and over again, well, then I don't know what attribute is kind of worse than that, than leeching off of people like that and stealing from people and then having these entities go bankrupt while you enrich yourself at the expense of people. And he's doing it now with the United States. I mean, look, this is a felon. Somebody, why is he doing this? Because he's a felon. That's why. He should be in prison. If you look internationally, President Yoon of South Korea, their insurrectionist former president, in prison for the rest of their life. Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, in prison for 27 years. That's where Trump should be. That's where he belongs. And that's why we're here. But people are seeing it now, finally. Let's take a look at what Harry Enton had to say on CNN about just how weak Donald Trump is. Let's play this clip.
Numbers, but talked about what is driving this drop for the president.
What is driving this drop? I said record was the name of the game when it came to this segment, right? Talking about the lowest Trump has ever been going into the State of the Union, the lowest that any president has been this century going into a State of the Union at this point in their presidency. It is also the weakest that Donald Trump has ever been with independents. Look at this drop. We've been talking about it the past few months. At this point, a year ago, Donald Trump was at minus 13 points. Look at this, minus 47 points among independents, the lowest Donald Trump has ever been in either of his two terms as president with independents. That is driving these numbers. When you're 47 points underwater with independents, that's the name of the game. You can't be above water overall, and that is why Donald Trump is near record lows overall and the lowest he's ever been going into a State of the Union address.
Quite a message on the eve of this big moment. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
John?
Those numbers with independents just eye-popping there. All right,
See, look, CNN gets a lot of it bad, but they got it so right with Mr. Harry Enton. That guy, dude, A+. Good, great work, Harry. Per usual, my goat.
So funny how much you love the guy.
I love it's a whole like presentation.
You like the shtick, the routine.
It's just him. He's just unapologetically him.
It just goes we're all from New York and you appreciate the accent.
Exactly.
So look, after Donald Trump was handed that massive loss by the United States Supreme Court on Friday, a 6-3 decision, striking down his tariffs against the world, he held that press conference. I'm not going to show that many clips here because I'm sure you've seen them all. First off, that new lighting in the White House is also just awful. Like they do everything awful. And I'm not going to just like spend that much time talking about the lighting, but this looks like horrible. I don't even know how to describe what this looks like. But anyway, so he then announces right after he gets that major L from the Supreme Court that he's now going to be enacting all these other tariffs that are going to be bigger than the tariffs that were just struck down. So here he is when he says, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing 301 remain in place. And now I'm ordering an additional 10% tariffs under Section 122. Here, let's play this clip.
Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies.
And then less than 24 hours later, about 12 hours later, he then posts that he's now raising that number from 10% to 15%. And 15% is the cap under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. But let's just pull up for a second the Trade Act of 1974, Section 122. As Peter Berezin explains, Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act, on which Trump is now basing these 15% tariffs, it just does not apply in the current macro environment. A balance of payment deficits is required. That's not the same as a trade deficit. You cannot have a balance of payments if you have a flexible exchange rate, as the U.S. currently does. Also, didn't Donald Trump say that he has brought in $17 trillion or $21 trillion? So if you've brought in $21 trillion, by the way, we know that's false, but that's what he's saying. How are you claiming that there is a balance of payments crisis if you're saying everybody's just giving you this money, right? So Donald Trump's own statements rebut his invocation of Section 122, and Donald Trump's own DOJ lawyers argued in front of the Court of International Trade, the Circuit Court, and the Supreme Court when they were asked, why are you relying on IEPA, this emergency provision, versus Section 122? Trump's own lawyer said it doesn't apply. They said, we're trying to deal with emergencies relating to trade deficits, and Section 122 deals with balance of payment deficits. So Trump's own lawyers said that they cannot invoke Section 122. And what does Donald Trump do? He invokes Section 122. Trump's lesson about the Supreme Court striking down the tariffs against the world is that it took them 14 months to do it. So all he has to do in his mind is, let me find some hook that's unlawful. I'm going to do it. I'll get sued. Then I'll appeal. I'll ask for stays. I'll lie to the courts about the reasons that I want these stays. I'll say it's okay. If ultimately we get ruled against by the Supreme Court, we'll do tariff refunds, which now they're saying they're not going to do. So they lied to all the courts by saying they want to stay because they said they would issue refunds if they lose. So you have nothing to worry about by issuing the stay. That was one of the big lies that they told them. And so Trump says, okay, I'll just do it anyway. Then it'll go to the Supreme Court in 2027. I'll lose, but then I got it for another however long. Now, this specific statute also, Section 122, says that the tariffs can only remain in place for 150 days. But what's Trump going to do? When 150 days are up, he's going to go, I invoke it again, rather than go to Congress. So it doesn't apply. It's limited to 150 days. But Trump's very lesson from this is to double down on his crimes. And now he's stolen hundreds of billions of dollars from the American people and refuses to return it. But again, this is in keeping with Donald Trump's life. You've unlawfully taxed American companies, which passed it on to consumers, to the tune of $200 billion. You have to return it. Give us our money back. What are you doing? And now they're saying they're not going to do that. Do we have the clip, Brett, of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent when he was on CNN over the weekend? And Dana Bash, to her credit, asked the question. Look, the big question that Americans want to know now that you lost is, will you be doing refunds? Will you be returning the money? Watch what Bessent says. Let's play it.
Question. Will you refund the roughly $134 billion in revenue taken by these emergency tariffs?
Well, Dana, that's not the big question. Let's just level set here. What the Supreme Court did was a very narrow reading of the president's authority under the IEPA tariffs. We have other tariff authorities which have been functioning, Section 232 tariffs, Section 301 tariffs. And Dana, when you say it's a big question, that's bad framing, because the Supreme Court didn't even address that. The Supreme Court remanded it down to a lower court, and we will follow what they say, but that could be weeks or months when we hear them. So the Supreme Court did not address refunds.
Sure, they didn't address refunds. That is clearly going to be up to you, which is why
No, Dana, it is not up to me. It is up to you. It is not up to the administration. It is up to the lower court. Let's just be clear on that.
Okay. Well, the Justice Department.
Let's bring in Brett and Jordy. It is up to them. And she asked a good question initially, but then she bought that framing. Okay, it's up to, no. It's up to you. If you're going to unlawfully withhold the refunds and then force the courts to order you, anybody who read the opinion, it's very clear. If the authority was unlawful in the first place, you owe the refunds. You stole the money. It's like, if you're found guilty of stealing the money and you still have the money, do they really need to say you need to give it back? Of course you need to give it back. What are you talking about? Brett and Jordy.
Yeah, this is why you don't impose illegal tariffs to begin with. This is why you shouldn't even go down this path. But, I think what we're seeing is, in the words of Donald Trump, You don't have the cards, Donald. You don't have the cards, Scott Bessent. You're losing all the cards. You tried this illegal maneuver because you are weak leaders, because you are bad at your jobs. If you're simply good at your job, the thing that you would do is you'd be like, I could just do this the right way because I'm so influential and everybody listens to me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go to Congress. We're going to codify these tariffs and I will show all of them. They want to try to stop me. Guess what? I'm going to get these passed through Congress. But Donald Trump is a paper tiger, and Donald Trump is a lot weaker than he's letting on. And I think one of the things that this situation has showed everybody is how weak Donald Trump truly is. And this is something that I've heard Governor Gavin Newsom say quite a bit since the ruling, that it has showed his weakness on a global scale. And it is so true right now, because now you have all these other countries out there that don't have trade agreements that have been ratified with the United States, but have been going back and forth with the U.S. And now they kind of have no incentive at all to come to the table with Donald Trump, especially with the terms that Trump is demanding. Trump totally tried to, Trump totally overplayed his hand, and now his bluff has backfired because he doesn't actually have the legal authority to do what he's been threatening to do with all of these countries. So if I were these countries, I'd just be like, okay, you want to do this stupid tariffs for 150 days? We're just going to chill back, okay? We're just going to wait this thing out, and we know that this is all going to blow away because you don't have the authority. You don't have the cards, Donald. Sorry. And it seems like Scott Bessent and this administration's posture right now is basically, we stole all of this money. And yes, it's money from American businesses, even though they try to say it's from all these other countries. We stole all of this money and we're not going to give it back. But if you want it back, you're going to have to sue us for it. And we're going to drag out these lawsuits for years and years and years. And we're going to make it as painful as possible for you to get your money back. And we're already starting to see these lawsuits. I think Costco filed a lawsuit already. They already had a lawsuit going. We learned FedEx earlier. FedEx filed a lawsuit against the administration seeking a full refund of their tariffs after the Supreme Court ruling. And we're going to see a whole lot more of this. And this is going to be something that the Trump regime is going to have to deal with. This is going to be something that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who pretends this is not his responsibility at all, this is going to be something that's going to start occupying a whole lot of his time. And if the crazy thing is, to me, the Supreme Court did Donald Trump and all of these Republicans the biggest favor imaginable. Like, if he were even a little bit smart, he would try to chalk it up as like, I tried my best with the tariffs, but I guess they won't let me. So no tariffs, let the markets go up, let everybody actually celebrate the fact that there's free trade back here. But he can't control himself because he is a wrecking ball. He is a destructive force, and all he knows is how to destroy, not to build. And his goal is just to burn this country and the world down with him. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing an unhinged maniac out there who just simply cannot control himself, who will always err on the side of wrecking everything that comes in his way. It's a complete and total disgrace. I could guarantee you all these Republican senators and Congress people, I guarantee you they were celebrating the Supreme Court's decision. I bet they were so happy about it. And you could tell that they want nothing to do with this, because even just today, Speaker Mike Johnson was asked, so why don't you guys put a bill on the floor? Put a bill on the floor, codify these tariffs. Speaker Johnson was like, yeah, I don't think there's an appetite I don't think there's an appetite in the caucus right now. Well, why not? These are so popular. If you stand by them, then stand by them and put the bill on the floor. But the fact is, they're weak. They know the American people don't like this. They know their approvals are crashing, and they just don't give a shit at this point. And shame on the Supreme Court, by the way, for giving Donald Trump this immunity in that prior ruling, which is kind of allowing Donald Trump to do whatever the hell he wants, even in the face of these rulings. It's a complete disgrace, but it's all showing right now how weak Trump is and how weak this entire party is. The House of Cards is collapsing right now before our eyes.
They're just also dishonest too. And they just lie with impunity. Like, they love, if their mouth is moving, they are lying. That's just ultimately what it comes down to. There's no substance behind anything that they say, because ultimately they don't work for the American people as they pretend to, right? They go out there, they wave their American flag. I love this country, man. It's all farce. They genuinely don't love the country. They don't. They care about one person who they refer to often as daddy. It's weird. It's Donald Trump. I wish I was kidding. That's what these Republicans do. So they go out there, they lie, they do his bidding. And even when he makes mistakes that are costly to the American people, They try and spin it into a positive. They try and cover for the guy instead of trying to figure out what's best for the American person. For me, that's just inexcusable. And as we look back in 5-10 years and sort of have a postmortem on all of this, I hope we get to that point where we can, honestly, and pro-democracy ideals and values truly win out. I think we'll look back and just be like, man, how cowardly was that whole entire party? Literally an entire party of cowards. It's absolutely pathetic. It truly is. And it blows my mind that we're here, honestly, as a country. And there are still so many people within this country that support and kind of cheer these folks on. But that just goes to show you how strong the propaganda is out there. And so, as we reflect back into this episode, I'm so happy that we reached this milestone of 6 million subscribers, again, to amplify our megaphone here, to bring truth with facts, data, receipts, and clips, and show it to the masses and bring it to the world. And when I say we, I'm not referring to me, Brett, and Ben here. I'm saying we, this community of 6 million and growing rapidly. You guys have the ability to go and talk to your circles, your family, your coworkers and whatnot, and show them the facts, data, and receipts. And so thank you guys for showing up again, man. I'm so stoked. 6 million. Let's go, Ben.
Yeah, look, though, the market was horrible today. Setting aside that, the kind of systemic issues that the market today was what? The Dow was down like 800 points. It's at 48,000. All of the various indexes were doing really bad. But like, we're in a jobs recession right now. We're in a manufacturing recession right now. Inflation's rising. Again, the GDP number came in at like 1.4%. And if you look at it, the economy is just slowing down. And what Trump's done to it. Remember when former President Biden left, it was called a Goldilocks economy. It was just right. It said it was the envy of the world. He spent a lot of time trying to deal with the damage caused by Trump 1 and all of the debt that Trump 1 left. And then finally, it was at a place where it's like, okay, we're going to get out of this. If Trump did nothing at all, he could have taken credit for it. That's the wild thing. He could have spiked the football. He could have played golf, and he could have acted like a genius if he literally just did nothing. Like nothing at all, and just let Biden's economy roll. And then he could have said, look what I'm doing, everybody. I fixed it. I did everything. Like he could have actually, but he took it and then he broke it. And now, like the Ponzi schemer that he is, when he held that press conference on Friday, he's now saying, well, look, the economy, you'll start seeing the results a year from now. Just give me one more year and you'll see it. So it went from when he was running, I will make it better on day one. Then when day one happened, just give it a few times. Fourth quarter's our quarter, right? And, otherwise it's Biden's fault. But if there's good results, it's mine. If it's a bad result, it's Biden. Okay. And now what they're saying is, I need one more year. Here, play this clip.
That's because of tariffs, and we're going to keep it going the same way. And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good.
Look, when I was a litigator, I faced off against some of the biggest Ponzi schemers out there. There was a case I worked on called the MedCap cases out here, $1 billion Ponzi scheme, out here, where I worked with the SEC as counsel for their receiver. In a case called Tom Seaman versus MedCap, or SEC versus MedCap. Let me just tell you, like what Ponzi schemers say, give me a little more time. I got this. While they rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, I need a little more time. Just give me more time. I got it. And then they blame everybody. I need a little more time. I need a little more. It's the same stuff at a macro level. And also the rest of the world is seeing it. I mean, whether it's Canada, the European Union, whether you go to Brazil, whether it's Australia, UK, you name it, people, Asia, they're seeing what's going on. They're seeing how pathetic it is. And they've been forming trade alliances that cut the US out because Trump's psychotic. He's demented. They see it. Like, we can't deal with it. We literally can't deal with that. That is not normal. And by the way, that's why we can't normalize the State of the Union. That's why we're doing the People's State of the Union. We can't normalize this behavior. We can't normalize someone who's covering up a pedo ring. Can't do it. Can't do it. Anyway, we'll take our last quick break of the show. A reminder, hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million
No,
subscribers.
it's already starting, folks. It's already starting.
7 million subscribers.
Do we need a new
Store
end card?
MeidasTouch-
Does the end card say 6 million when we run that one? I got to check with the.
I guess
Got
we'll
to check
see.
with the team.
Store.MeidasTouch.com. You can get the MeidasTouch gear and help celebrate 6 million subscribers, 9 billion views. Let's take our last quick break of the show. We'll be right back.
All right, real talk. I've always worn jeans, but I've always hated jeans. They feel like they were designed for January optimism, not February reality. Like they're quietly judging your life choices every time you sit down. Ordering online, even worse. You never know if they'll fit, feel stiff, or need a full break-in period that lasts longer than your New Year's resolutions. So yeah, I told the folks at The Perfect Jean I would give their jeans a try, only because they wanted to sponsor the show. I'm not gonna lie, I was skeptical, and then I put them on, and then I had an immediate, oh damn, these are actually effing awesome moment. All my worries instantly went away. They fit like they were already broken in, like sweatpants that decided to get their life together. I checked the mirror and thought, damn, they look good too. They meet you where you are. Wings, beer, date night, couch, whatever. They stretch when you sit, snap back when you stand, and somehow still make your assets look respectable. I wore them all day. No waistband wore, no awkward adjusting. Super Bowl sit test, passed. Romantic dinner, also passed. And at $79.99, that's wild compared to the $150 to $200 tortured denim we're used to. Plus, I paired them with their new mid-weight plush brushed quarter zip pullover, 4-way stretch, super soft, makes you look like you actually planned your outfit. I'm literally wearing that right now, and I didn't even know I was doing this read today. Our listeners get 15% off their first order, plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use code MeidasTouch15 for 15% off. Seriously, if you're done with stiff jeans punishing you for existing, our listeners get 15% off their first order, plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use that code MeidasTouch15 for 15% off. That's MEIDAS15.
Ever wake up sweaty, freezing, or just uncomfortable? The temperature in your bedroom can make or break your sleep. That's why I switched to Miracle Made Sheets. They're inspired by NASA technology and use silver-infused temperature-regulating fabric to help you sleep perfectly all night long. Miracle Made Sheets feel just as good, if not better, than sheets you'd find at a 5-star hotel, but without the steep price tag. Smooth, breathable, and ridiculously comfortable. Thanks to their antibacterial silver technology, Miracle Made Sheets stay cleaner and fresher up to 3 times longer than regular sheets. That means fewer odors, fewer wash cycles, and way less laundry. All that hidden bacteria in regular sheets, it can clog your pores and cause breakouts. Miracle Made's antibacterial design helps you sleep cleaner and clearer night after night. Miracle Made Sheets are crafted with NASA-inspired silver-infused fabric that helps regulate your body temperature. Hot sleeper, cold sleeper, it doesn't matter. These sheets help keep you in the comfort zone all night long. Upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas to try Miracle Made Sheets today. You'll save over 40%, and when you use the promo code Meidas, you'll get an extra 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel set. They make for an amazing gift, and with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. That's trymiracle.com/Meidas, code Meidas at checkout. Thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description of both the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. One sec, real quick, Benji. I saw some people in the chat asking if they could get this sweatshirt at the store. The quick backstory here. This was like one of our first things that we made back in, if you could believe it.
That's the retro design.
2020. This one doesn't exist on the store. I'm really sorry. Maybe we'll do a limited run, but we have a lot of great products on the MeidasTouch store and at the MeidasTouch store.
Maybe we could bring it back, but that's why when we got the new designs, you gotta swoop them up while you can, you know?
Exactly. Store.MeidasTouch.com. Go check it out. Very exciting stuff. And for the audio listeners, I don't want you to feel left out. This is a pretty big visual podcast with the ticker and getting over 6 million subscribers and all of that. You guys still have a mission to do, audio listeners, and that's to get us to 50,000 reviews. I checked the audio review thing yesterday. We're at like 49,000 and like 850. So we're basically 100. If my math is correct, and I'm definitely not the math brother. I don't think any of us are math brothers.
No, Brett's the closest we got.
Brett's the closest thing we got to a math brother. Sorry. Anyway, 150 reviews away. 5-star review. Leave a comment wherever you get.
I was very good with math, for the record, until I decided that I didn't need math for my
we gave you the math credit.
There you go. Yeah, we gave you the math credit. 5-star review. Leave a comment, positive comment. Say hi. I love reading them. We're 150 away, so please do that. Benji, I think that made sense. Where to next?
With all of this chaos going on here in the United States, also Trump directs that chaos abroad. He's posting messages like this about Greenland yet again. He said, working with the fantastic governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, we are going to send a great hospital boat to Greenland to take care of the many people who are sick and not being taken care of there. It's on the way, President DJT, to which the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, then responds, I want to thank all of the doctors, nurses, and medical providers who have reached out interested in donating medical services for this mission. Once we get everything in place, we would love to welcome all those interested in helping. That is what America First charity looks like. Thank you, Mr. President. So Landry is the governor of Louisiana, which ranks about the worst in just about every category on standard of living and education and mortality rate and healthcare and jobs and quality of life, you name it. Like Louisiana is the worst under Landry. The Trump regime and Republicans have ripped away people's health care in the United States, and they've treated health care as though it's not a human right, which it should be a human right here. In Greenland, they have universal health care. They don't want this. And in Greenland, they view these statements, I think rightfully so, as a kind of a Trojan horse, if you will, for an invasion of Greenland. This is the type of language that Putin uses about places that he invades, like Ukraine. Oh, we need to build hospitals there. This is a humanitarian mission. That's why we need to take over Donbass and Donetsk and all these areas, because we need to bring them health. It is the sicko mind of predators and authoritarians to say, we're helping you. You're sick. You need help, right? That's what Trump was saying about Minnesota. You need us. You're not safe. We're trying to help you. People are like, get these masked ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo out. No. We're trying to help you. We're trying to keep you safe. What are you talking about? We're trying to stop the pedos. We're trying to stop while they cover up the pedo sex trafficking. This is what these sickos, the Epstein class, does. And also, it doesn't help, or I think it shows their intentions, that there was a nuclear submarine that had to surface over the past few days off the coast of Greenland because one of America's soldiers on the submarine almost died. And in Greenland, they had to save the life of this soldier in the submarine. So it turns out an American nuke submarine was right outside Nuuk in Greenland, their capital, right as the king of Denmark was there visiting. So this was a revelation too. Wait a minute, you're talking about sending these ships and your nuclear submarine had to surface. We just saved the life. And now you're saying you want to send ships to help us? We don't need help. And the premier of Greenland, Jens Frederick Nielsen, then posted the following on Facebook. It will be a no thank you from here. Trump's idea of sending an American hospital ship to Greenland has been noted. However, we have public healthcare systems where treatment is free for citizens. This is a deliberate choice and a fundamental part of our society. This is not the case in the United States, where seeing a doctor comes at a cost. We are always open to dialogue and cooperation, including with the United States, but please speak with us instead of making more or less random statements on social media. Thumbs up emoji. That's my favorite. Dialogue and cooperation require respect for the fact that decisions about our country are made here at home. And then there's a photo of Jens Frederick Nielsen, the premier of Greenland, along with the minister of health. Brett and Jordy, deranged stuff right there.
Deranged, embarrassing, dangerous. As you said, this is such a Putin-esque tactic. And I just want to emphasize just how provocative of a move it is that the United States had a nuclear submarine that close to Denmark, where when a member of the United States military got sick, that Denmark cared for them on Greenland. And that Donald Trump took that and then he made it this kind of opposite land where the United States actually has to help Greenland, even as Greenland was helping the United States. Not to mention the fact that the hospital ships that the U.S. has, both of them are currently incapacitated. Both of them are currently in for repairs, so they can't even go there at all. And the Wall Street Journal also followed up and asked the Pentagon, asked people, so was there an actual order made for these hospital ships to go to Greenland? Nope, nothing. Just Donald Trump made it up. And Jeff Landry in Louisiana, they just are continuing to perpetuate these lies, all while they have these nuclear submarines apparently right off the coast of Greenland. If you're an ally of the United States, or formally an ally, how could you possibly look at the U.S. right now as the good guys? How could you possibly think that anything that the United States is doing is in good faith, especially as Donald Trump uses Vladimir Putin's talking points for annexing territory, for taking over places like Ukraine or Crimea in Ukraine, using the same exact language as Putin as justification to do all the things that Donald Trump is doing. It's very obvious. It's good to see that the leaders in Denmark and Greenland are speaking out against this and are speaking out unequivocally, because it's very clear what Donald Trump is doing. But this is the problem when you have an actual psychopath in the Oval Office and enablers who enable this psychopath to be psychopathic and to be crazy on everybody. I mean, this is the end result. This is the only natural result of all of this. And it's why everybody needs to actually stand up against this maniac.
Absolutely. And it's why I always say this is why we need adults in the room. We need serious people in government. My biggest fear for the future of this country is basically how our allies will see us post the Trump presidency, right? My biggest fear is trying to figure out where we stand as a country, but as we stand as an image sort of to the world of what our values are, of who our leaders are, of what people expect that they can get from a relationship with this country on a consistent basis. I really worry for not just us here, but future generations, right? We all have kids as the brothers here. And even if it's not our kids specifically, I just worry about the future generations of children that are growing up in America. Because if we don't have strong allies and we truly isolate ourselves from the world, I think we've all learned throughout studying history what that could do and what that does do. To me, it's a terrifying prospect when countries can no longer depend on us, the US, to actually live up to our end of the bargain. And that's what's been so disheartening for me with the Trump presidency, with the Trump regime right now, is I truly can't see a vision where the image of the United States gets fully repaired on a global stage. And it's terrifying.
Jordy, you want me to give you the answer? Remember that Adam Sandler movie where he is the fast forward button?
Click.
And then everything, what was it called?
Click.
Yeah.
First movie I cried at.
Are you ready for the Click, Jordy?
Oh my God, Click was so sad. It was the saddest movie.
12.
Oh my God.
I was 11 or 12, started hysterically crying in the theater.
Okay, well, I'll give you the Click ending right now, okay? It already happened, Jordy. In Trump, that stuff's already happened. While I feel like I've aged in dog years under this Trump regime, as most people have in this short period of time, it's done, Jordy. It's over. There is no America leader of the world, okay? There will be future presidents who will try to get back into a multilateral world order. They will not be trusted. America will not be a leader ever again. Period. It's done. It's done. Okay. There is no, we can hope that a future president restores some dignity, but that maybe takes us back from negative 100 to negative 20. But the rest of the world's moved on. And their view is, okay, we've got to deal with this person for the next 4 years, and that's good. But this country, America, United States, is susceptible to this again. This exists in that country. So until there's some sort of massive constitutional reform, court reform, right? Like our constitution needs to be rethought. Like, and I'm not going to be able to solve that problem in the next 9 minutes on this show, but the Constitution was based on good faith, norms, traditions, right? And an implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. It's a contract concept, that I teach in law school, but our Constitution is a contract, and it's not all that long. It's one of the incredible things when I teach constitutional law at law schools. It's not that big. The First Amendment, not that long. The Second Amendment, just a sentence or two, right? The Fourth Amendment of unreasonable searches and seizures. You go through the various amendments, the 10th Amendment on states' rights. You go through these constitutional provisions, and they're based, though, on the good faith that people go along with these things. And the moment the Supreme Court makes a ruling like absolute immunity, when even royalty in the UK doesn't get absolute immunity, right? And our Constitution was a reaction against kings, an objection to it, until we abolish absolute immunity, until we here find ways to abolish this concept of this unitary executive who can do whatever they want without checks and balances. No country is going to think that America can ever be a long-term partner. So they've moved on. Click. That's it. It's done. And this is what Trump's done his entire life. And I don't mean to paint a picture that's so bleak to end it, but I'm just being real. And look, the United States can play a role in a broader multilateral system, and future presidents can try to get back into some of these organizations, sure. But until there is systemic reform here in our country and wholesale abolition of certain types of doctrines here that have really harmed us, no one's going to view us as a reliable partner. This is what Trump's done with his casinos and his entities, and he did it with the United States. I think a future president can restore some dignity, but not ever get back America stand ever again, Jordy. And I hate to.
I'm just going to say I think it was a really some good analysis. I also don't think you've ever actually seen the movie Click. I just don't know how that tied into the movie at all. But I really appreciated the analysis.
Tie into the movie. It fast forwarded.
Like the analysis, just so you know, it made no sense.
I clicked.
You just said the word click a couple times.
Okay, first off, I've seen Click. It involves the guy. He's an architect. I've seen it. He works at the place, and then he wants to rise and take the elevator to the penthouse, basically, and he wants to get there. So he gets the remote control. He fast forwards it, and then he fast forwards so quickly he misses his children.
All right, spoiler alert.
Right, yes,
Jesus, come on, man. You're ruining the movie for everybody now? Unbelievable. Just ruin the movie.
So my point about Click was I'm fast forwarding.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to get into it.
Okay, so all right. So pretend I didn't do that. Just rewind, pause, delete, Control Alt Delete. All right, but in all seriousness, let me show you what Steve Witkoff. Nice transition there. What Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to everything, who has no diplomatic experience, he's been going on state regime media. And here's what he says. This is his message to Iran, right? As Donald Trump's threatening to attack and invade Iran, the message from the envoy Witkoff is, why won't you capitulate? We have so many ships. Why don't you capitulate already? Here, play this clip.
I know that we have red lines here from the U.S. How about over with Iran?
The president asked me that this morning, and I don't want to use the word frustrated. It's almost because he understands he's got plenty of alternatives. But it's curious. He's curious as to why they haven't, I don't want to use the word capitulated, but why they haven't capitulated. Why under this sort of pressure with the amount of sea power, naval power that we have over there, why they haven't come to us and said, we profess that we don't want a weapon, so here's what we're prepared to do. And yet it's hard to sort of get them to that place.
Well, there's that.
great. I mean, it's the stupidest negotiation I've ever.
By the way, has everyone seen the con yet? Okay, are you noticing the con? Remember months ago when they did the other attacks on Iran and
obliterated?
What was that?
Totally obliterated.
Total obliteration, right? That was the phrase that Donald Trump. We totally obliterated Iran's nuclear program. We have set them back years, if not decades. They are never ever going to be close to getting a nuclear weapon ever again. And now you have Witkoff going on TV and they're running the same playbook where they go, it's the same thing. And they've been doing this, by the way, for decades. I think The Daily Show did an excellent montage with Netanyahu about this, where they go, Iran is just a week away. Iran is just a week away from getting a nuclear weapon. So we have to act now. It's just a week away, just a week away. We're just weeks away. They constantly use the same propaganda. And then they try to go, oh, you don't want us to go to war with this country? Then you're anti-American. You support terrorism. They start, running that's the playbook they run every time. But Donald Trump said totally obliterated. Those were the terms he used. Now they're saying a week away. You can't have it both ways. They were either lying then or lying now or lying both times, which is probably the reality in this situation. And I'm sick of being gaslighted by these people into getting into all of these foreign entanglements, into getting in all of these wars. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. There's a lot of reporting now that the U.S. isn't even prepared for action in Iran. You have generals speaking out. Then you have Donald Trump disputing the reports that have been well-sourced and in a variety of publications about this very issue. You could tell Donald Trump has been kind of very hesitant about this one. Trump wants to do something that's sort of like quick and get out, but it seems like if Donald Trump does actually get involved in Iran this time, it's going to be a more prolonged war, and they are predicting that American troops are going to have to be on the ground and that American troops could die in a war in Iran. And so this is the situation that Trump is once again getting us into, using the same playbook, by the way, that Republicans have used for decades and decades and decades to get us into wars, but probably not with this low a popularity as Donald Trump is right now, right? When Bush got us into Iraq and all of those, forever wars, at least he had like an 80% approval rating at the time. He spent a lot of time kind of conditioning people for it, putting out messaging. Donald Trump just is trying to do this just on a whim, and he's already unpopular to begin with. Nobody in the United States wants this. It seems completely reckless, but like I said, Donald Trump is a destructive individual, and he will do anything he can to destroy. He doesn't know how to build. This is the only thing he knows how to do.
No, absolutely. I want to, a few things. Number one, Brett, about the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, what he's privately telling people is America doesn't have any allies right now to help with Iran, right? It's just America and Israel. That's it. No one else wants to give us their bases. It's a lack of support from allies. That's a big deal in a situation like this. And one of the things also that we're seeing, the U.S. attacking the European Union now because the European Union in their defense directive, like their big kind of national security policy paper, says that they want to now buy European military equipment first, right? The U.S. has been attacking Europe. They've been threatening to invade European countries or territories of European countries. They've been saying, the United States, the Trump regime, saying, stop being dependent on the U.S. Stop it. Cut it out. You've been too dependent on us. All right. So Europe's like, all right, great. So we're going to buy Europe first, right? There's buy America first in America, buy US first. Europe's like, we'll do the same. Got it. We'll focus on European military equipment first, right? Like the Gripen in Sweden over the F-35, or the French military air defense systems over the US Patriot systems, right? There's, especially as Donald Trump talks about building in kill switches into American military equipment. So then the ambassador to the European Union posts, you can't do that. We are not okay. It is unacceptable for you to have a European preference. Really? Because that's you've been attacking Europe and now they're done with you. And so now you're attacking the European Union for having a Europe preference over military equipment. It's that type of stuff over and over again. As I mentioned at the outset, Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's dad, who's the ambassador to France For those who don't know Charles Kushner's story, he pled guilty to multiple felony counts of tax evasion and witness tampering. Which witness did he tamper? His brother-in-law, his wife's brother. And how did he do it? He hired prostitutes in order to set up his brother-in-law, to blackmail his brother-in-law, who was cooperating with the feds, to testify against him in order to destroy his brother-in-law's marriage with prostitutes. And he was caught doing that. He was pardoned by this is Epstein class stuff, right? He was pardoned by Trump in 2020. And he became the ambassador to France. He and the U.S. Embassy in France have made numerous statements recently attacking French domestic policy, saying that we expect you to stop leftist extremism. And in France, they're like, you don't lecture us on how we deal with things here in France, okay? You're the ambassador. Stop. You don't dictate our policy. You understand? We're going to handle it. We take things seriously here. You stop it. And they summoned Kushner. And guess what? Kushner didn't show. As an ambassador, you have to show when you get summoned. That's part of the diplomatic dance that you do. Didn't show. It's the second time he did it. So now in France, they ban him. But all the U.S. ambassadors to these countries attack the countries, right? I mean, the ambassador to Canada goes in there and mocks Canadians every day, right? And by the way, he's attacked Meidas Canada as well. But you look at throughout, that's what these ambassadors are doing. All right, there we covered so many topics there. I think that we covered a lot of topics. I want to thank everybody so much. We hit 6 million subscribers on this live. I could probably keep speaking for a half hour more or an hour more, but
let's stay on live till we hit 7 million, folks. We're going to stay live till we hit 7 million subscribers. No, thank you, everybody, sincerely, for having us reach and blow past this milestone. Thank you for 9 billion views. I think I'm prouder than, even prouder about the 9 billion views, because that just shows we're punching way above our weight class. That's more views than, most channels out there. So, truly incredible. And I'm so excited for our event tomorrow. Like I said, let's make a massive statement at the People's State of the Union. We have dozens and dozens of lawmakers attending. We have federal employees who've been affected by the Trump regime. So many other special guests are going to be there. It's at the National Mall in Washington, D.C., and we're streaming it right here at youtube.com/MeidasTouch. And you could go to the link right now, and you could set your reminders right now. And we'll keep reminding you tomorrow. Don't worry, but set your reminders, send it to a friend, let everybody know on whatever social media platforms you use, whether it's Blue Sky or Threads or X or Facebook or whatever. Let's blow this up. Let's make this big. I love that Donald Trump is already sending panicked emails about this event out to his supporters. We're already getting in his head. And I think if we blow this out of the water, it will absolutely torture him, and it will be for a good reason. We'll be showing people power right here at the MeidasTouch Network and on the National Mall. So I look forward to it. Tomorrow's a big day, folks. Today was a historic day. Tomorrow's a historic day. And it's all because of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really, really, really appreciate it. Jordy?
Wait, one sec. I still can't get over the fact that we hit 6 million on the stream, on the live show.
How it coincided with the start of the show. It's
how I did it though, Jordy?
How'd you do it, Ben? Did you start the show 5 minutes early?
Click, click, click.
Okay, there you go. Hey, you guys are the greatest. Shout out to the Meidas Mighty.
The Meidas Mighty standing strong against the fascists. We sing our song. We will get it right whenever.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.